Right, I think we are live. Hello, everyone. I'll just make sure that everything is working. Let me let me see. I think you can hear me, you can see me. So hello, everyone. This is the last demo of the year. So welcome to those who happen to be there with us today. And as always, we have some news, we have some demos to show. My name is Christian Podemski. I'm tech evangelist for the PrestaShop project, for the PrestaShop open source project. And today with me, I will have Daniel Slavacek, who you may know as a PrestaShop scoped maintainer for the Hummingbird theme and Classic. But the news is that he is now PrestaShop project committer. So I would like to welcome Daniel on the board. He now has, much more activity in the project thanks to it, and he can do much more and much quicker. So let's go to the agenda of today's event. First of all, I will introduce you to the event rules, as always. Then we have project news, and then we have demos. And as you can see, today it's a little bit special day because all of the demos are coming from Daniel. So today demo is sponsored by Daniel. Then, if we have time, I will present you some overview of the pull requests that were merged in November. And as always, I will host a Q&A session where I will answer with Daniel or somebody else from the project any questions that you may have about the open source project. So event rules, first things first, you can use chat to ask questions, and we'll try to answer them at the end of the event during Q&A session. This event is about the PrestaShop open source project. It's not about PrestaShop company. Next thing is that this event is public and recorded, so you can see the replay later on YouTube. And please be nice to each other, respect our code of conduct. And as always, if everyone is respectful to each other, it's just better this way. So let's go to project news. First and foremost, a news about something that happened in December, but it's an important news to share. The team released PrestaShop 1788, and as always, this release fixes some bugs and regressions, but this time this maintenance release also fixes a security issue that was found by one of the community security researcher. So if you happen to use PrestaShop 1.7, I highly recommend you to upgrading to the latest version of 1.7. And other than that, speaking of 1.7, as you know, PrestaShop 8 was released a few weeks ago. So from now on, from the day that PrestaShop 8.0 was released, PrestaShop 1.7 has entered extended support mode. And what does it mean? It means basically that there will be no further development of 1.7. Only critical security fixes will be handled and tackled on the new releases. So this is the moment that if you have a store running on PrestaShop 1.7, it's good to do a little research on how to upgrade, how to best upgrade to PrestaShop 8.0, but you still have some time since the extended support for PrestaShop 1.7 will continue until PrestaShop 9 is released. And this is estimated as for now at the end of the next year. So this is the news about PrestaShop 1788. Going next, I would like to welcome new project members. We have 3 new committers. We have Maxim, Nicolas, and Salim. So with Daniel, we have 4 new committers welcomed to the project. So it's really great to see new faces in the project. It's really great because we can manage things much quicker, and it's helping the project with its dynamic. So welcome, guys, and thank you for your current contribution to the project. Going next, I would like to speak a bit about Hummingbird, but you may wonder, what is Hummingbird? And basically, it's a new front office theme for the PrestaShop that is now currently in progress. The work is in progress. The Hummingbird theme was introduced back at the beginning of 2022, if I'm not mistaken, to be the next default theme for PrestaShop. And there's a lot of new stuff in Hummingbird. New tooling like Bootstrap 5, introducing of TypeScript. There's a new structure of the files, plug-in, plug-out Bootstrap styling, a lot better customer experience, and much, much, much more. So what is the current state of the Hummingbird? It's been some time since we presented something to the community. And today I will just do a quick overview of what happened in the last few months. And keep in mind that we will probably show some overview, some live demo next year at the beginning of the next year. But first things first. First of all, PrestaShop quality assurance team performed manual tests on the Hummingbird based on the classic theme scenarios. And this helped us understand what needs to be done for the Hummingbird to be released. Then product team, based on the response from the quality assurance and discussion internally and externally with people responsible for running this project, decided to create a Kanban with a list of priorities for the first version of the theme. And recently, you could see that there were some bug fixes coming from JB Lach, who basically backported all the bug fixes from Classic theme to Hummingbird. There were some improvements for JavaScript code. Thank you, thanks to David Gonzalez. The theme is now built automatically. The package of the theme is now built automatically on every merge to the master branch. And for the new releases, there's a new password policy available in the theme, in the Hummingbird, thanks to Valentin. And there's also a new feature. There's also implementation of picture tags that are now available in most of the places. And picture tag will be a default feature for the Hummingbird. We expect for the backend side of this feature to be available in PrestaShop 8.1, and it's highly connected to the PrestaShop 8.1 and new image management system, which I hope the project members will show you next year, at the beginning of the next year. Going further, there are a few things that are needed to be done to have the first stable version of the Hummingbird. First of all, there is still some work to do around optimization, both regarding JavaScript and CSS optimization. There's an ongoing discussion around the new theme logo. There are some improvements to be made for mobile devices. There is verification of compatibility with native modules to be done, and a few more things that are still in progress or are waiting for somebody to take on them. So to summarize, the project needs you. If you want to see the new theme in PrestaShop, and if you happen to be a developer, if you happen to be someone who can help us testing the new Hummingbird theme, make sure to read Get Involved page on the PrestaShop project website. Make sure to see the list of available issues on the Hummingbird repository, just so you can understand better what the project needs and how you can get involved in it. So this is it when it comes to Hummingbird. And the last news from me is about Core Weekly, not weekly, monthly. And Core Monthly is basically, Core Weekly was basically a summary of the things that happened in the project weekly, shared weekly on the PrestaShop project developer blog. So due to the maintainability of it, and just to give it a more editorial approach, it has been decided to change it from weekly to the monthly basis. So this way you can see what happened in the last month in the project. So the first release of the Core Monthly is now available on the developers blog. You can see what happened in November in the text form. But now let's go to the live demo form, to the presentation form. And I would like to invite Daniel on stage, who has a few demos for us. So Daniel, hello.
Hi, guys.
So I can hear you, I can see you. So I'm just gonna leave you there on stage so you can start.
Okay.
Enjoy.
So I will share my screen and show the presentation from here. So share screen, share and select the right screen. And you should see my screen, Christian. Okay. So guys, I have prepared three new PRs that's gonna be pretty useful for I think for most of the merchants. The first one is that you can now set availabilities per combination. Right now, you have an option to set the availability labels in PrestaShop configuration, and if you wanted, you could specify it on the product level. But this is not enough if you are selling, for example, clothes, and you are like backordering some part of the catalog from your suppliers. Because imagine this situation. You are selling a t-shirt and you have three sizes. One of the sizes you have in stock. The second size is in your supplier's warehouse and it's available next day. And the third one, you got an information from an XML feed, for example, from your supplier that availability of this size is unknown. And there was no way to do it, and you could only have like one availability message. So I had like four clients having the same problem, so I said like let's get to work. Right now, after this PR, since 8.1, you can define the labels per each combination, and if this combination is set, it will override the labels on the product level. The priorities go like this. If there is a label on combination, it's going to get used. If not, it's going to look for the label on the product. If there is no label on the product, it's going to look into PrestaShop configuration. If it's empty, nothing gets displayed. It's you can use this feature only on the new page that I think is going to be default on PrestaShop 8.1. I wanted to do it on the legacy page, but it will be so complicated to do it on the in case of multi-language stores because like there was no data provided to the form and to the JavaScript, and it would be work that's not worth it, I think. Uh, Structure-wise, the combination object is now multi-language and has a new language table, product attribute length, which contains the labels right now. But if we add some multi-language data for combination, some other data, it's going to be much easier. And it also works with the bulk editor. But I think that in case of most sellers, this availability data is going to be updated automatically by some kind of external updater. So I think it's manageable manually only in case of small stores. So I will now show you how it works. So for example, let's check the sweater. I will enable it, and let's type some labels on the product label here. And now let's configure these ones. This will take 48 hours. Let's save it. Wait, I will just fill it in, okay? Wait. This one, let's say M is gonna be also out of stock. Let's say like this. And this one also. So these are not in stock, and these are gonna be in stock. Let's say this will be fast. Sorry, maybe I could do it easier with clicking the next combination. I didn't think of it. Okay, let's save it. And if we view the product, you will see. Oh wait, I need to enable backorders, allow orders, save. So you will see that the combination that are not in stock, which wait, ah, I didn't set it in English. Sorry. save it. I will also save it here. And now it should work. So in case there is no combination label field, it's going to use the product one. And in case there is a combination label field, it will use the label from the combination. So you can specify it for each combinations. If you delete it, so I will select all results, edit for combinations, stocks, and we can delete the labels like this. Apply. It's maybe there's some bug. Sorry. Okay, so bulk editing does not work because maybe we broke something. But as you can see, I can specify the labels for each combination. If there are some questions, I will I will answer it after we finish. So let's continue with another thing. Presentation. Then another change is more options for disabled products. Right now, if you disable the product and a customer came to this page, he only saw this error message, which doesn't tell him anything. He doesn't know why he ended up on that page, where is the product, if it's an like temporary error or if it's an out of sale. So I think there are much better solutions that big players are practicing. And those are that you can, it's much better to actually view the page and tell the customer that the product is no longer in sale, because he knows what's happened, and you can still make some money from him because you can offer him like alternative products or like a replacement product or something. Yeah. So now you have much more options. Before there was only option of 404 and 410 with displaying the error page. So I now added like 3 new options. The original option that was in PrestaShop 1.6 and in the first versions of 1.7 was 404 response with an error page. Then contributors added an option to send and 410, and now you have an option to choose whatever response you want. You can send 200 and keep it listed, or 404 or 410, and you can display the product page. This is how it looks. I used the current availability label logic to display this message, but we can improve it in future templates, for example, by hiding the prices and the add to basket completely and just show like a red message, or you now have available the product active property in the template, so you can do whatever you want with it. It's purely optional. It will work with any old classic theme in any old third-party theme. It doesn't need any template modification. It properly sends the discontinued availability in the header, in the structured data, so Google will understand that the product is discontinued, and you can select whatever response. If you want the product to keep it listed in the search engines, you can return 200. If you want to delist it, you can return 410. There are now some more advanced strategies possible. For example, after you disable a product, you can monitor the traffic to the page, and after some time, for example, I don't know, half a year, you can set 410 and remove it from the search engines, or keep 200 and keep the traffic flowing and just do whatever you want with the customers. Also, I added a new option that you can, there is a new configuration option in PrestaShop settings where you can set the default behavior right now. Because if you have thousands of products and you don't are skilled with MySQL, it's going to be very difficult to change this behavior for thousands of products. So you can now set the default behavior, and every new product you create will have the default option configured. On the upgraded installs, it's going to be changed by an SQL query that all product that had 404 previously will now be changed to default, and there will be a 404 page set in the PrestaShop configuration. So it's going to have no effect. And all new products you create since 8.1 will have the redirect type default. And the feature is available on both old and the new product page. I will now show you how it works. So if we go to, first I will maybe make it bigger so you can see it. if we go to product settings, you can see that there is a new option here that's going to say what to do with the discontinued products. You have 5 options as default, so let's test it on some product. For example, I don't know what, wait. For example, this one. So if you go to, let's check what we have default configuration. You can see the new options here. Let's set the default and let's disable the product. And let's visit the product as a normal customer. So we do delete the token. So this is how it looks right now by default, yeah? So now if we can change it to this one, for example, it will change the default behavior and the product will be visible with this error message. You can see it sends a proper response. So if we go to where is network? Network is here. Let's order it like this. And there is a 410 response. If I change it to 200, so because I want to keep it in the search engines, it will visually look the same, but the response will be 200. You can further override it per product. You can, for example, say that on this single product, I want to delist it and like, I don't know, show an error page, save it, and now the product will use its custom configuration instead of the one that is in PrestaShop. So last thing I want to show you is the backorder status. Like 90% of my clients, I don't know what are other like developers experience, but people don't like PrestaShop automatically changing their status to on backorder. So it's a simple modification in payment module class, but it was requested so often that we added a configuration switch for this. So now if you check configuration in 8.1 on or develop, you will see that in order settings, there is a new switch in here where you can enable or disable the backorder status. And that's all from me, I think. So Christian, you can take the word if you want to.
All right. Yes, I want to. Thank you, Daniel. 3 amazing features, and I'm sure that community will be very happy to see them live in PrestaShop 8.1. So if you guys, if you have any questions to Daniel, make sure to ask them on chat. And if not, we can wait for Q&A session. Yes, Daniel.
One thing we are still missing is the option to set the auto stock behavior, because right now we can only set it per product, and if we don't want people to be ordering one of the combinations, we can't do it. So if there's any volunteer who wants to take in, that's going to be another awesome feature. The database structure is prepared in the PS stock available table. There is the column, so it's just about the code.
All right.
And that's all from me.
You heard Daniel. You heard Daniel. If you want to help Daniel implement this feature, or you want to implement it by yourself, feel free to join us on PrestaShop Slack. We can help with that. So thank you, Daniel. Now we'll go to the PR overview. I will share my presentation again. All right. So the idea of this segment is to show you a few interesting pull requests that were matched in November, during November. The thing is that we matched over 250 pull requests, so it's not that easy to select only a few of them to show you during the public demo. But I decided to pick some of them. Some of them are from community, some of them are from the core team of PrestaShop, from the committers, from maintainers. So let me share my screen. All right. Okay, I hope you see my screen. I think you You can see it. All right. Here's the dashboard for PrestaShop 8.1. This is basically a developed branch of PrestaShop project, a GitHub repository. And first pull request that I would like to show you is about a little improvement for customer, for merchants working with their stores. Progi 1984, Frank, added a button to delete logo image on manufacturer and supplier form. And to present you that, I will now show you how it works in PrestaShop 8.0. So if you go to the graphic corner brand, then there's no way to delete the logo of the brand. To do that, you need to basically remove it from your disk or to replace it with some other logo. So it has been improved in 8.1. So if I go now to catalog brands and suppliers, and then if I visit edit page, now I can delete the logo, and there's a button. So it's a tiny improvement, but very, very good for merchants. So they can better manage their brands and logos of them. Now going to the second pull request, it's mostly for developers who are working with PrestaShop themes. Basically, as you may know, if you happen to work with PrestaShop Classic theme or any other theme, there's a hard-coded widget from the native module from the PrestaShop, PS Contact Info, that is displayed on the contact page. From now on, from 8.1, there's a change. It's a change that is still compatible with the old themes, because if you don't change the code, you will still get PS Contact Info module. But if you want to make it more flexible for your clients, for your stores, you can change it to new hooks, and it was implemented both in the core and in the PS Contact Info module, and to Hummingbird and Classic theme. So if you want to make this page more flexible, if you don't want to have any hard-coded widgets, you may consider implementing this feature that was implemented to the core by Valentin, by NoMaking. Going further, there's yet another change that is coming from Frank. And it's something highly requested. It was something highly requested from the community. Basically, it's a still small but very, very efficient change, in my opinion, because the wording of best sales has been changed to best sellers. So if I now visit PrestaShop 8.1, this is 8.1 running on the Hummingbird theme. So just to show you that it's available, you can test it, you can run it on your local installation of PrestaShop. If I go to the footer menu, I can see that there's a best sellers link instead of best sales link. The same should be in sitemap. As you see, there's a best sellers page there. There's no best sales page. So it's a tiny improvement, but very, very anticipated by the community. Going further, there's yet another very interesting pull request that has been merged in November, and it's coming from the community contributor. And it's an interesting contribution simply because it's, again, something that community requests, that community of developers in particular requested for a long time. Basically, from now on, from PrestaShop 8.1, you'll be able to change the price of the product on the fly. So if you are a module developer, if you want to calculate your product prices differently, you may just hook into Action Product Price Calculation and do all the calculations from scratch your way, just how you want them to be. So the change is now in the core. The change will be available starting from PrestaShop 8.1. So if you happen to have a module that is overriding product to get static price or price calculation, simply to change the method of calculation prices for the products, it will no longer be necessary for PrestaShop 8.1. Going next, contribution from Jeff, who is one of the Friends of Presta members. So thank you, Jeff, for this pull request. It's a small but really nice pull request that basically activates Symfony log file rotation. So if you have any logs on your server, there will not be, buckled from, for indefinite period of time. There will be rotated for, if I recall correctly, yes, if I'm not mistaken, 30 days. So there will be no problem with, your resources running out simply because you have too much logs on your server. So Jeff, thank you again for your contribution. It's now live. It will be live in PrestaShop 8.1. And what's good is that those settings, you may override those settings from environmental variables. So if you use Docker or something, you can basically change the setting from 30 days to 14 days and so on and so forth. Thank you, Jeff, again. And now we can go forward. So yet another contribution from Progi, this time also about merchant experience. From now on, when you go to the regenerate thumbnails section of the back office, so it's under design image settings. Here you can manage all the settings of your images. And if you want to regenerate thumbnails now, there's a modal confirming, asking you if you really want to do that. So yet again, something that is a smaller improvement, but really, really anticipated by the community. The back office, the merchant experience should be much better thanks to little addition like that. And last but not least, if I'm not mistaken, this was first pull request that was merged and is coming from Rafał, who is a contributor from Poland. And he added something that was also highly requested by the community. From now on, you can disable directly from the back office this prefix that is added to all the emails that are sent from PrestaShop. So if you are tired of having square bracket, shop name, and then subject of the email, you will have a chance to turn off this setting to change to basically disable the prefix of the messages of the titles of emails directly in your back office. And as you can see, the pull request was validated by Faten, and it will be live in PrestaShop 8.1. And again, those were only a few pull requests that were matched in November, during November. There was more than 200 of them, so we'll try to come up with the next pull request overview in January to show you more little improvements like that, so you can see that PrestaShop is getting better and better with every release. And now I will go to my StreamYard. I hope that everything is okay. All right, I think it is. All right. Maybe I will ask you, Daniel, on stage, because it's a Q&A session time. Log in. All right. Do we have any questions from the community? Don't be shy. If you have any questions, either about the demos that we presented with Daniel or about the project in general, let us know. From what I see, there was one question about the link to your pull request about discontinued products, but I sent the link. There are no more questions from what I see, but we can still wait a few minutes. Maybe we can spoil a little thing. We were discussing with Daniel some improvements regarding the performance of PrestaShop. And some pull requests are, if I'm not mistaken, some pull requests were already matched in November or early in December. That basically cuts the number of queries in PrestaShop by 50, if I recall correctly.
Something like this.
Yeah. So we discussed it further during office hours. So regular weekly meetings with the community where product members are available for you to discuss around the project about the project. We discussed some other places where we basically can cut queries on homepage, on category page by half or even more, only by caching some stuff that is basically not necessarily queried over and over again. So those are those little prerequisites that are very, very valuable for the software.
Because, for example, we can cache the whole language table, the whole currencies table. We can load the module list with the hook execution list of the active modules once in the beginning of the request, and it doesn't need to be that part of the database doesn't need to be touched during the load at all, I think.
Exactly, it's good
Because
enough
this
to
kind
have
of
it once.
maybe even carriers, because like this kind of data will never exceed, I don't know, maybe 20 rows. Maybe, I don't know if about carriers, yeah, but like languages and currencies definitely.
Something that we need to be careful about is that if anything happens to the currency rate or carrier price and so on and so forth, we need to be aware of that. But that shouldn't be a problem, as most things are Ajax queried on the checkout page eventually, or
Yep.
simply it should be easy to implement without basically introducing any bugs. Yes, there was a comment from Jonathan. Be careful with the cache, though it's one of the reasons of many bugs throughout the software. I think we are aware of that, and I recall a lot of struggles with reset static cache and so on and so forth, especially during the tests. So yeah.
We mean just
Question
the
from
yeah,
yeah.
okay. The
Question from
question from
Fabian
Fabian. We mean just
is
the static cache of the on the object in the memory, no saving on disk. Yeah, Christian?
exactly is the cache saved on disk or in memory from disk? How about I/O versus SQL query count? That's a good question. I believe we don't have such information on the profiler that we use by default in PrestaShop. It's something worth investigating using some more advanced software like Blackfire or something. Something to discuss during office hours, for instance. Right. But yes, I agree that sometimes less queries doesn't mean that the software will be quicker, and it's something that we need to be aware of.
I think the most performance we can save right now is we move everything product related to the lazy array. So we just have one single source of truth that will be fast, and we don't have to think about do I need to load this or I won't need to load this. Because sometimes, for example, you have a module to show bestsellers on the top, and you either call get product properties for every single product, or you have to do it manually. There's nothing in between. So if you know what I mean, Christian.
Yes, I think we discussed it. We discussed it also during office hours that
Yeah.
basically we do have product lazy RI, but either is not used at all by third-party modules, or it's used in a way that basically destroys the performance gains that it could have for the modules or the software in general. And it's true that the more we have products in cart, the slower it became. So there was definitely some work to do in this regard, especially since I recall some reports, some issues regarding number of queries if you have more products in cart. So it's something to think about, but I think that a good time will be once someone from the project members will take over the cart rules and cart page in general, because it's a critical part of the software. And if we want to be careful about caching module list or languages list, we need to be extra careful adding any cache layer to the cart page or reducing number of queries, because Yeah, a lot of things happens during the checkout, so we need to be very careful about it. All right, I don't see any more questions, so I think we can finish on this right now. Just last one thing that I would like to share is that I mentioned a few times office hours. For those who don't know, office hours is a new initiative coming from project members. Basically, we meet every Tuesday, almost every Tuesday. We know sometimes there's a whole bank holidays in countries that we live. But we try to meet with community every Tuesday at 11 a.m. Central European time. So if you want to discuss with us anything regarding the project, if you want to discuss with us any pull requests that you are working on or you plan to work on, feel free to join our meeting. It's open. You can join us even if you want to listen what we are discussing. So feel free to join our office hours. And I think that will be it. This is the last demo of the year. So with that occasion, I would like to say Happy New Year to everyone, because we won't see each other till January probably. With some of them we will. And for those who are celebrating, Merry Christmas. So once again, thank you, Daniel, for joining me today with a few really, really cool demos. And we will meet in January. The next demo will be on January 11th. So if you have some free time at 4 p.m., then join us and yeah, enjoy. See you next year. Thank you,
See
Daniel.
you. Bye.
Bye, everyone.